Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Good morning once again and welcome to Church of Uganda Family TV. It is issues at hand, yes, a number of issues to discuss, but most importantly, knowing the kind of month we are in, the Women's Month. Anyways, we are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. You should really try out them. Go there in Entebbe, find out what they got, because actually every service they have is off standard. And in case you have anyone flying in or wanting to fly out, please tell them to pass by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. The numbers are there. You can make reservations or you can do bookings and sort of. It is a nice place to be in. So today we're going to be analyzing women's rights. And of course, the legal and the political perspective is what we are going to delve into. But because, yes, it is just a few days to Women's Day, and celebrating them is something we cannot take for granted. And here at Church of Uganda Family TV, we are taking it to some other level because everything is changing. It has to be streamlining in the line of women. That is why most of our guests, by the way, most of everything is in line with having women. So today, I'm being joined by a lady from the Women's Pro Bono Initiative called Lona. She is a legal officer there, and we are going to be discussing this and of course knowing the importance or why we should celebrate a woman. You are most welcome, Lona, to Family TV.
Thank you, Luke.
Yes, you can greet our viewers there.
Good morning to our viewers. I'm Lona Nagawa, a legal officer at the Women's Pro Bono Initiative. We are a feminist legal organization. Okay. We offer free legal services to women. The word pro bono in our name is for free. Okay. So it's women's free legal services, basically. We're located in Tinda, Sona Road, Ministers Village. Okay.
Yes. Maybe if you could kindly expound more about the Women's Pro Bono Initiative before we kick off.
The Women's Pro Bono Initiative is I would not call it a program per se, but I would call it part of a movement. Okay. The women's rights movement, and our focus is on legal services for women. Oftentimes we find that many women in the various communities have no access to legal services, and for those that have access to the legal services, they face quite a number of challenges: how to navigate the system, how to seek which kind of help and where and through what means. So that's where we come in as lawyers, because we're an organization of lawyers. And we provide a number of legal services for all matters and issues that concern women, from providing free legal aid to influencing legal and policy reform in Parliament, and sexual reproductive health and rights, everything in a category that affects or influences the life of a woman.
Okay, so you are doing all this at a free charge, sort of?
Yes.
And how do you benefit?
It is an NGO, and with the help of generous friends, we are able to realize our dream of having women living in societies free from discrimination, and women having supportive systems wherever they go, in whatever field they want to venture in. There is support right there for them. That's our dream, and that's the reason as why we do this kind of work.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's delve into the discussion of today. Of course, we're analyzing the importance of women and the Women's Day, actually. So what are some of the achievements you can account to women?
Okay.
So far, so good. Because if maybe a little flashback, we have been in culture-oriented communities where a woman is like a substitute to a man. So how far do you see a woman? What are some of the achievements?
First of all, just like you said, so far so good. I mean, I am here. I'm a child of the movement, so we've taken steps. We've seen progress. But In the past years, and ever since the women's rights movement came into play, we've registered a number of successes. We're having more women in leadership. We're having more women that are educated. We are slowly moving away from the narrative of women being subservient to men. We are pushing the talks around gender equality, and hopefully they are sinking in. We are confronting patriarchal systems that have been oppressing women, and I'm sure I've seen a number of ladies here, and I think it's a good thing to work with ladies. I mean, so we've seen progress. We've had legal reforms. A 1995 constitution started with Article 33, specially recognizing rights of women. I mean, everyone has rights, but women have special rights. So that's a good thing. Whenever we think about it, we smile. Okay. We have, in 2010, we had the Domestic Violence Act. It came in to regulate GBV. Many women were in abusive domestic relationships and face a number of challenges therein. But yes, the act came, and yeah, we're seeing progress. Okay. We're seeing more girls in school now. We're seeing more women in leadership. We have a female prime minister, a female vice president. So those are some of the successes we've registered.
That's interesting. Now, in this advocating policy of yours, as the Women's Pro Bono Initiative or any other entity that is up there fighting for the rights and, of course, fighting spaces for women, do you think, I'm going to pose the same question I asked you before we went on air. Where does this leave the man, the boy child? Okay.
We are often asked that question, by the way. Oftentimes it comes up. But let's remember that women are vulnerable groups in society. You mentioned yourself that women were treated as subservient to men. So we have had a long-standing culture of downtrodden women, derogating women's rights, of looking at them as lesser persons. And our constitution, as a lawyer, I'll draw back to the constitution. Our constitution allows us affirmative action, which we call positive discrimination in simpler terms. So it allows us to prioritize rights of women, prioritize rights of groups that have been previously discriminated against. So that's why we do that. Yes, it may not be a very appealing to a man to hear, but we are choosing women because they have been the vulnerable groups, and regardless of this of the steps we're taking, we're still having policies and measures that continue to pull us back. Okay. Yes. So we're not neglecting men. Actually, we value so much male engagement. In our strategies, we include male engagement, where we have men as allies. We have men that have the same values as us. We have men that believe that women deserve rights and women need to be treated respectfully, and we value them.
Okay. Yes. So what is the relevance of Women's Day, majorly? What do you think is the relevance of this particular day?
Women's Day is different from any other day, because first of all, this is a day to celebrate a woman. In being a woman is an achievement in itself. I'm not bragging, but yes, it is an achievement in itself. You have a lot of things that really pull you back from birth. You're born into a family. You're not allowed to be your father's heir. You're born into a family. There are specific gender roles that are prescribed for you. There are presupposed perceptions that you should follow. So there is really a lot that we women have to fight through. So on this day, we get to celebrate our existence, really. Yes. I mean, we have men who only respect women's rights with a mentality of, well, what if it's your sister? What if it's your mother? But women should not be respected only because of their place in your life. They should be respected as human beings, because in the very place, every human being has a right to dignity. So on this day, we celebrate that. We celebrate existence, the things we've been able to come through, to come from, and things like that. Then also on this day, we use this day to reflect upon the women's rights movement. It is not something that just started yesterday. It's been ongoing for for a long time now. So on this day, we reflect that this is the far we've come. How far have we come? What challenges are we facing? How can we polish this? How can we polish this? How can we make ourselves better? Later in this conversation, I hope that we talk about the various categories of women. You know, women's needs are not homogeneous. The needs of a woman like me are different from the needs of a woman down here in Wino, something like you see. We have different needs. So on this day, we reflect that. For women in particular societies with special needs, for example, women living with disabilities, women living with HIV, what is it that they need? How can we make their lives better? So we use this day to lift each other's hands, to polish, reflect, and celebrate women.
Okay.
Yes.
So in relation to the work you do at the Women's Pro Bono Initiative, do you have success stories that you can tell?
Yes, we have registered a lot of success.
Do highlight some.
First of all, we at the Women's Pro Bono Initiative, we, as I explained earlier, we offer legal aid. And in offering legal aid, we get cases where we have women whose rights have been derogated and have not been able to find remedies. They've tried reporting to police, and no measures have been taken. Nothing has been taken seriously. So when they come up to our organization, we take on the matter and we follow it through. And in among those, we have projects running in Chigo Prison, where we provide legal services to the women in Chigo Women's Prison. And in there, we've just had a lot of success. We've seen women being released. We've seen women getting bail. I will not point out particular stories per se for the interest of time, but yes, we are helping women, and women are benefiting from our existence indeed.
Wow, that's interesting. Yes. Well, Council Lona is really giving us wonders about women. It is interesting, yes, to really uphold the kind of platform they have managed to achieve currently. So it is interesting, and we are continuing with this discussion. Kindly, we're going in for a very short break, then return immediately.
Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Family TV, enriching lives. Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Yes, welcome back. You're still watching Issues at Hand here at Church of Uganda Family TV, and yes, I will continue telling you that it is the month of women, and just in the break we managed to be joined by another beautiful person to discuss matters of the legal rights and political spaces women are in Uganda. Also, as we get in to celebrate the Women's Day, so it is important that they themselves speak to us on what is transpiring down there. And it is Honorable Sharon Oyat Arach, the spokesperson, Uganda People's Congress, that has just joined us. You're most welcome, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, and I will actually move straight to you because I think Council Lona had taken us through some of the session. So I will immediately jump to you, and you tell us about the political representation of women so far in Uganda.
Fortunately, the women have learned how to participate into politics, being that they have been exposed to different ventures, and we give thanks to the women emancipation because it has given them the confidence to be able to do things that back in the day we wouldn't imagine ourselves to be doing. The platform has been given, but the issue is the protection of those in the platform. Okay. An example is when you look at the way women are being arrested, there used to be this respect for women that not a woman is not touched in a certain way, but right now a police officer, an army officer, when they're arresting a woman, they forget that this is a woman. They manhandle them, they touch parts that they shouldn't touch, and these are some of the things that us women in political spaces have been advocating for all this while. That yes, we are in these spaces, yes, we have been given the platform, but we need to also be protected when it comes to certain things. And this is why we are seeing very many women are reluctant to go and maybe have a peaceful demonstration because they are worried. If I'm arrested in a proper, respectful manner, that is okay. But if I am manhandled and certain parts of my body that are supposed to be private are disrespected, then it ceases. It paints a different picture to the young generation. So this. I'm glad the legal mind is here, that they should be able to a law that protects. But even if the law is there, let it be implemented. We have seen on several occasions these laws are being underlooked or overlooked, and they say, so what with the law? And we have had the police officers recently when Senyonyi went on the Luboa issue, a police officer was boldly telling that the law doesn't matter. So if the law is being underlooked, who is supposed to protect us? So these are issues that we need to bring across as we are heading to Women's Day celebration and say, okay, women have been given the platform, but they also need to be protected to be able to do their jobs better. Okay. Yeah.
Now, Council Lona, to what aspect do you see gender equality being promoted here in Uganda?
Legally, we have constitutional provisions that provide for gender equality. We have, I think it's in chapter 4, they talk about non-discrimination on grounds of sex, gender, race, and things like that. However, as Honorable here said, let's look down to the implementation. We are having women roughly wound up and arrested. You know, as I earlier explained, vulnerability of women. Even when a woman is in a political space, her rights should not be, not even a woman alone, no one's rights should be derogated at any one point. Because people have a right of freedom to demonstrate, freedom to participate in political organizations and affiliation as they wish to. And in doing that, our government is supposed to offer the necessary protection, to offer the necessary shield. It gives you the right, and then also helps you realize that right. It helps you enjoy that right without any further interruption. So yes, that is happening, but it is not right. So I think let's look into the proper implementation of our law. The custodians of our law, how are they implementing and keeping it? These are the questions that we always need to answer as people that are in the public space and rights
Okay.
activism.
Oh, maybe Sharon, if I could chip in a little bit about security places. Somehow, somewhere, they say women are being majorly on entrances or sort of how women are checked matters. But then there's a time we were interacting with officers. They said a woman is supposed to be checked. Like a man is checked, yes, by a fellow woman. But somehow, somewhere, women also do oppose that you're not supposed to touch me like this, even if it is a fellow woman.
Yes.
That you're not supposed to. So what should be done? Because security measures should be worked on the right way.
Initially, that was okay to have women and to check with fellow women. But now when it became in the issue of LGBTQ, so, some you don't know,
Yes.
but there are some women who check you and you start doubting. I mean, the checking is
okay?
beyond the norm. And then there's are scenarios where you find a woman saying, my dear, you're overdoing it.
Yes.
Because if you're a woman, and obviously there are parts that you shouldn't touch a certain way, but if you're exceeding the boundary of actually being a woman, then there's something else you're looking for. Those are normally the scenarios where I find a woman saying, let me have a man check me, because there are boundaries that they know in their minds that I shouldn't go beyond this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And maybe let me get back to you, Lona. How do the cultural norms, also cultural or traditional norms, impact on a woman's day to day?
I mean, it's still very much living with us. As I was walking up here along the street, so someone I met someone and they're telling, I'm going to Family TV, I have a show. They're like, oh, okay, like, you know, it's still a shock that a woman is being invited in such spaces and speaking to the nation, you know. So yes, we have culture, and then also let's not forget that our culture is marinated in patriarchy. We still have places where men are still being dominant. Remember, yes, the argument is usually merit, but we also have women that are equally meritorious. So we have a culture that is continuously teaching women. I mean, when a man is in a place, do this. When a man is in a place, do this. In a marriage, you know. So when he beats you, please, you're a woman, cover. When he, I mean, you see. So we're having all these factors that are basically quoting violation of women's rights, and they're embedded in our culture, which explains why we also have women that are reluctant to report violations. They're like, well, but he's my husband. Marital rape has been an issue that has been hovering over our nation for a very long time. It's a very controversial one. Some say, but I'm your husband, you consented at marriage. Why? I mean, such arguments. Yet it is wrong, because a woman has a right to her body, a right to say no, a right to dignity, because when it comes to sensitive matters like rape, those are things you don't easily recover from, even when it is from a spouse. So how can you start telling us, well, your body is the man's body, so it's not fair. It's just not fair, because at the beginning of it all, I want us to see women as human beings in the first place. Look, how would you feel if your wife just came like, you know, take off your clothes and, no, it does not feel right? The way you're smiling, it doesn't feel right at all. So once we see women as human beings in the very first place, I think we're going to be able to contextualize most of these things that we are asking for. Many people tend to think we're asking for quite too much, but these women, now you want to rule us, now you want to wear trousers? No, it's not wanting to wear trousers. It's wanting to be seen as human beings, worthy of respect, worthy of dignity, and worthy of rights.
Wow. Sharon, let's talk about the political spaces in there. We have seen majorly like women maybe I can concentrate on members of parliament. I find most women want to concentrate on the seats of representatives. They are not going in for these but other seats because they feel they are dominated by what? By male. Yeah. How is that influence? Because somehow, somewhere, I remember you must be so aggressive. Like we have very few in the country. It's in Nambozi, we have very few who are on those seats. So what is supposed to be done for the woman to really go in for those aggressive seats as well?
First of all, I would go back to the upbringing. You know, when we are being raised, we were told we are supposed to do certain things and not to do certain things. Now, when the affirmative action came in and they put in the positions of women, MP, women, so women felt like this is what is ours. We cannot go for the direct seat, we cannot go for any other position. Because you are taught that a woman should not go a certain way, so it becomes indoctrinated into us. So it takes a lot of mindset change to say what a man can do, I can as well do it. And that is why we are seeing a few women right now are now going for those other political positions that are not gazetted or specifically for women. The aspect of women positions in Member of Parliament, a woman parliament, was basically put as an affirmative action, but also to show the women that you can do this, you can get better. But the mindset change said that this is what they've told me I should do. Because we are taught to listen. We are taught to follow a certain line. Now, diverting away from the line is what women have to learn and say, but I can spread my wings and be able to do that. So, the women positions, yes, they are there as an affirmative action. It is a starting point. It is not the end. So we are telling women, yes, we can also go for these district positions. You can also go for the direct position. I am a member of parliament of a district. I am a member of parliament of this position. And you're able to spread your wings. Let us not keep our mind as women and say, me, I'm a woman, therefore this position, this is the woman MP position that I've been given, I cannot go elsewhere. If it is it's a financial strain, yes, we understand. But if you have the resources, because these are direct positions, you require a lot of money. Already the political atmosphere is already monetized. So if you cannot afford, if you feel like I can do this, yes, I understand. But don't do it because it is the position that has been given that I am supposed to be the woman MP for this position. I cannot be a direct MP. That is where you have challenges. But I've seen a few women attempt it and they've actually won position. And that makes me so proud as a woman. It makes me feel like the young girls in that constituency, the young women in that area, feel like if this woman can be our MP, that is not just a woman MP, you can do better, they can be more. And this is when we appreciate government partially, that okay, you have provided a platform, but also we need to change mindset. Because I've had several women say, we have been emancipated, what more do you want? We are also human beings. We have dreams. We want to elevate. We also want to be president at some point. Me, even if a woman stands for a president, I actually vote by virtue of being a woman, because she may not win, yes, but she's setting a platform for the young generation. Say, if she could do it, Chalia did it. And right now you see young people saying, if Chalia can do it, she did not win, but she set a foundation for other young generation. And that is what we want. So that we have an example to give to the young people that if this one did it, so I can do it. Ones for men, have you ever seen a woman stand for presidency? Yes, they have, which means another woman or a young woman, and have as many women as possible. Our aim is to have an entire parliament full of women. If we can do it well and good, if we can have a woman president, because men are also fighting for their interests. Even us as women, we have our interests. And only us women can better understand it. And as we celebrate this Women's Dawn Friday, these are things that we expect women in the political spaces, women that have platforms that some of us cannot stand in, are able to push for. And this is why we are saying, let men combine, work together. If we have someone in the legal mind, what is it by when I call you, come and rescue me there, and then I have things to do. So these are some of the things we want to be done. Let us not do things because she's a woman. Let us not do things because eventually she will get out of it. She will get over it. She's being emotional. Those are things that piss me off when I hear. And those are statements you don't find a woman make because she doesn't have that. 45% of the time, the men are provoking.
You tell us, for the aspect of mindset change, for women to be aggressive, what should be done after you chipping in?
About the issue where we have spaces open, but we have women women are reluctant to take them on. I want us to look at the aspect of support. So women need to live in supportive communities. You say you have a family, at home. There's this entire new job description you take on once you get home, as a mother, as a wife, as whatever you are at home. So that's a big thing. And then workspaces, you're expected to compete with a man who's usually, I'll not stereotype, usually who just wake up, prepare at work at 9. I had to wake up in the morning, prepare children, prepare the husband's breakfast and things like this. So let's be supportive, more supportive. Also, I think Honorable here will testify. You realize that most of the women that manage to step up to do great things, to step up into these spaces, they're sexualized.
Yeah.
You find someone like me, they're like, she must have slept. She slept with someone. And then someone is saying it with so much certainty, and then they make women feel like you can achieve nothing without having to make the kind of sexual investment that most people do. And that is also something that we need to check. In these societies, workspaces, politics, economics, let's support women. I don't think it would be very nice if I had to say, but that man, let's do away with the whole aspect and idea of sexualizing women and objectifying their bodies. If she's to get into this kind of political space, she must have slept with someone, she must have done this, that, and then we tend to hold them ransom for that. I think we see that very much happening in our country. When a woman gets up to say something, it may not be sexual related, but they're like, but again, she slept with someone. But what I'm saying is not connected with who I slept with. We all have our sexual lives and they're private, So let us be supportive. Let us be more supportive. And then about issues of mindset change, we are and we're still doing empowerment. We're carrying on this mentorship. The women's rights movement is not going to die with us. We're going to have to need younger people. So we're carrying on mentorship. We are teaching them to confront these gender stereotypes. Yes, it is hard for those that try to confront gender stereotypes. You're tagged as a very aggressive, defiant to society, things like that. But if that's what it takes to have your rights respected and your voice heard, then so be it. So we are having to, we need to engage more. Actually, one of the campaign themes for the Women's Day this year is inspire inclusion. So let us include the young ones. They have brilliant ideas. Let us hear from them. Let us teach them, because they're going to carry on the message in the absence of the perpetrators.
Okay. Maybe just to add on a bit when it comes to mindset change, it also applies to us in the political spaces. Yes. When a woman is trying to contest for a particular position, they tell them, you're a woman, you go for the woman position. Because the mind has been fixed to that. And also when it comes to the financial independence of a woman, when it comes to issues of inheritance, women, it's believed that a woman cannot inherit. It is basically the male child. Things that if a woman is not financially independent, you have tied her arms. And most times, if she doesn't have a good job, which of times she's left with a certain package, a certain inheritance, the family comes in to try to hinder her from achieving that, because by virtue of being a female, she's not supposed to inherit. So those are some of the laws that we want us to come up. It is okay for a woman to inherit property. It is okay for a woman to be financially independent. Some men are actually intimidated by a woman who is financially independent. They say a woman will become big-headed, but the fear is just the fact that this woman may not need she'll be able to be intolerant to certain behaviors towards her. They will be more confident about themselves because they will know they can achieve certain things on their own.
Okay. Now, maybe also to add on that, I happen to do news reporting sometimes. So I was at an event, and the keynote speaker was a woman. She's a very successful woman in Uganda dealing in transport and logistics. So she was giving an address, and every man was very keen to know where she started from, and not knowing the background conversation the men were saying. I want us to know how the economic factor influences the well-being or the way, the life of a woman to stand up in those spaces. cancer?
When you look at most of the women that have gone through domestic violence, that have gone through gender-based violence, and they're still in such relationships, when you talk to them, they will say, I have children. It's not that it is that the children that are hindering her, no. It is how to take care of those children. So they are tied to an abusive relationship, they are tied to an abusive workplace because they need that finances, they need that assistance. But if a woman is financially independent, financially stable, they are happy to walk away from an abusive relationship with their children, and then they are comfortably able to take care of these children without the man. Because those are things, okay, you go, let's see how you take care of these children. So they keep there for the children in most cases because they are unable to take care of them. But also, when it comes to the political spaces, there are issues of sexual harassment in terms of positioning. You want this position, do the needful. It's very common, silent but very common. And many women, it has taken them years after maybe they have gotten a position, maybe like me, and then there's a platform, and then they say, at one point I was sexually harassed. But because at that time when she was being sexually harassed, she did not have the power to be able to go against that person. Reason being, the person could be paying her the salary, she's afraid for her job, for her livelihood, or secondly, the person have power. Because people who sexually harass, people who violent, there's something they're holding over your head that you're unable to report, or you're unable to walk away. So there's usually that something, and in most cases it is monetary. How it's about your livelihood. How do I live when I live? How do I live when I report? Because they may even say, if you report, no one will believe you.
Sure.
And that always works. When they tell you no one will believe it, always works. Women really, because you say, but why did you wait this long to report? You told me no one would believe. Or they'll say, auntie, now I was worried, my job. So if a woman is finances, they keep them under their shell, their shell, that any form of aggressiveness to fight back, they're intimidated to do it. But the one time that they do it, they see results, and that is how they end up coming up and fighting for themselves. But in most cases, an abuser keeps them shrinked into their bubble of knowing that it is okay to be beaten, it is okay to be abused, it is the new normal. And once they make them believe that, you have a series, a vicious circle of abuse. Wherever they go, they are abused because they have that intimidation. And once you abuse in terms of rape, there is that something that is taken away from you. Your self-esteem is taken away. And it takes years to build it back, and a lot of work to build it back. So every woman should be financially independent. It is next to impossible, but at least some level of it will be able to protect this woman. Because if someone is financially independent, you are able to fight back. You are able to protect yourself. That is why you see, even if they are manhandling MPs, it is not as much as they manhandle women on the streets. There is some degree of respect when they're handling women MPs.
Yes.
And then when you look at the ones downtown, they handle them as if they are goats. They even cane them and so on. So they know these ones have some bit of power, they can fight back. So there is that mentality. So the more a woman is financially independent, economically empowered, they're able to do great things and also protect themselves. Because whether I want it or not, a woman is vulnerable at any level. Even if she's the president, she's still a woman. And she needs that level of protection. Doesn't matter how powerful she is. She'll need protection from the men to be able to protect her children. And it is just a chain, but people have failed to understand that a woman who is protected is a more productive woman.
Okay. And maybe Council Lona, still on the aspect of finances, in the myths, I could say, it is hearsay also. People say if a woman gets money, she will be another person. She will be different. How can that stigma be?
When men get money, do they remain the same?
Everyone changes with money.
I mean, everyone changes with money. So let's stop making it a women's issue, really. Everyone does. I know men, once they get money, they even marry a second wife.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, let's not tie this to gender. It's a character issue. You choose how money changes you or not. But about the economic, Honorable has ably explained that. But I'll add on, let's look at economic policies. We are living in a country whereby a packet of pads the fundamental menstrual hygiene products is 3,000.
Yes.
And we have Ugandans who still live below $1 a day. So you expect such a man to afford a packet of pads?
Wow.
Of course not.
Of course.
So let's look into these policies. Let's make subsidies. Let's make these things more affordable for women. At the very least, menstrual hygiene. There is a time we were having a discussion with university students about challenges, and they were facing. They were like, well, condoms are all over campus. You can never lack condoms. But for some reasons, you can lack a pad. So I think let's also reassess our priorities as a country. I understand HIV and what, but let's prioritize women's rights. Let's prioritize women's needs, most importantly. Last year, WPI challenged the 18% tax that was added on diapers, adult diapers, and we were looking at it from the perspective of women. We have women that are mothers. They need to buy these diapers, and then when it also comes to the adult diapers, we have women that take care of children that need these diapers on a daily. We made a presser and an assessment, and this diaper cost I think 2,500 according to the increment that had been imposed by the tax. And we were saying, you're burdening these women. We ran studies with women whose children need these diapers, and she would tell you, without these diapers, I'm going to have to keep washing the whole day. So you expect such a woman to be equally productive at work? No. We have women that actually use these adult diapers, women that have had irreparable tears in giving birth, fistula. They need them. So you expect them to keep coming to work with such expensive commodities that they probably cannot afford? No. So in our economic policies, let us prioritize and factor in women's issues. Let it be a priority. Let it just be a matter of money and national coffers and what, but let's take to the discussion of women. I mean, they need this. Why are we having to impose so much tax on it and things like that? That's what I would want to say about that.
Sure. Maybe as we wind up, what is the importance of engaging and celebrating a woman?
Well. In '84 is when Uganda first celebrated Women's Day.
Okay.
And at that time, women were basically looked at as kitchen and household helps. With the changing and evolving centuries and generations, we are starting to appreciate women more and provide platforms for them to express themselves more. However, much has been done, but it's still not enough. We still have a generation that still thinks that a woman is supposed to be in the kitchen. The reason why we keep celebrating Women's Day and we need to keep acknowledging the values of women in society is to help or to try and salvage the society and also help them understand how valuable a woman is, not just in the economic sense, but also in community development. Women do a lot of work or a lot of background work that society does not acknowledge. You just wake up one morning and it looks like something that is normal. But once women agree or decide to sit back and just watch and do nothing, you will see how wrong the world will become. And by celebrating this day, we are trying to remind people that women exist. Women need to be treated a certain way. Policies have to be made to protect them. Policies have to be made to make their lives better. And also, women need to be respected, because every day that passes by, a child is born. Let it be a girl, let it be a boy. But they're all dependent on the woman.
Sure.
So whether the boy misbehaved, it's blamed on a woman. A girl misbehaved, it's blamed on a woman. So it shows you how important women are. And to do this, we need frequent reminders. It's very unfortunate that if the Women's Day celebration is approaching, is when everyone fine-tunes to women. Is when everyone starts thinking about, oh, by the way, it is Women's Day. I need to cook for my wife. Why can't you cook for her every day? Why can't you take her out every day? What stops you from doing that? To take my daughter on a date so that when an old man takes her on a date, it is not new. Why would you wait for Women's Day to remind you, to give you a checklist of what you should do or to treat a woman better? So, yes, we have this Women's Day celebration, but also we need to train people that every day should be Women's Day. Because if you respect a woman's place, you're going to have peace. You men, you can testify. If you have a problematic wife, do you have peace at work? You go quarreling from home to the workplace, and it's the same thing that applies to the man, to the woman. If she quarrels with the husband at work, it becomes the order of the day. So for both parties to have peace, it all rides on a woman.
All right.
Yes.
Very interesting. Council Lorna, what is the importance of engaging and celebrating women?
This question by first asking you, how does it feel when you have to work with a female colleague?
Yes.
Okay.
And it is interesting.
Just comfortable. Just comfortable.
It's comfortable and interesting. Well,
okay, I'm looking at me seated here. You know, I do hosts.
Okay.
I do host shows. So I'm looking at myself sitting with Edwin Austin Mkalas, and we're sharing. It is not interactive as I'm with the woman who I host with, actually. Yeah.
so it's making work better for you. At least you have something to look forward to.
Yes.
Those are my words, though. Anyway, so that one thing of the importance of involving women. One is we are having good ideas coming to the table. I mean, naturally, I'm not going to toot the horn so much, but naturally women have good ideas. Okay, everyone has good ideas, but there are these ideas that a woman will be able to see, and we women have a unique ability. I think Honorable will agree. Like, we pay extra attention to detail. I mean, these are things that may be very minor, but again, they're very important. Secondly, as a country and as in our various communities, once we prioritize women's rights, we also
as a woman who has ever been poor, as a woman who knows what it means to lack, I would advocate for women to try as much as possible to work hard, to fight for their spaces, no matter the intimidation, and also to respect themselves as women. If you do not respect yourself, it is very hard that someone is going to respect you. It starts from you. The way you treat yourself, the way you conduct yourself will automatically camouflage into others, and they will give you the same respect you give yourself. Yeah. So if you treat yourself like something else, that is how people will take you. So conduct yourself in a respectful manner, you'll get the same reward. Work hard and also enjoy yourself. It is Women's Day. Be a woman. Enjoy being a woman. By virtue of being a woman, I wouldn't want to be anything else anyway. Being a woman is the most beautiful thing that has ever happened to me.
All right, sure. Council?
My closing remarks would be, first of all, I would call upon the government. Thank you so much, Family TV. You're doing what you can to support women's rights, but I would also call upon the other stakeholders, CSOs, government, politicians. Let us lobby for these policies that support women, really. Yes, I believe that once we all tackle the struggle from our different angles, we will be able to get progress and make significant steps. Secondly, let's not limit the Women's Day celebrations to just Friday. Let's be unapologetic and take it the whole month. Let's not stop there. Let's keep confronting these patriarchal systems. Let's keep speaking out. Right. That's the most important thing. We cannot keep quiet. Let's keep speaking out. Let's keep criticizing where things need to be criticized, and most importantly, let us keep celebrating our milestones. We cannot forget how far that we've come, and let us keep celebrating, and from there we'll be able to move forward.
Thank you so much, Council Lorna, and of course Honorable Sharon, for joining us. It is, yes, it is not a Women's Day celebration, it is a month, the whole month of women. And of course, just like also Sharon noted, you should celebrate a woman on a daily. Yes, we are continuing to celebrate a woman, and coming next is Issues at Hand Extra, and of course we are going to be having the very Reverend Canon Dr. Rebecca Nyegenye, the very first woman provost in the Church of Uganda. So women are taking up spaces. So please tune in, stay on. Issues at Hand Extra is coming on with Edwin Austin Mukalas. Have a lovely day from us.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives.